Alright guys, welcome back. Son of Scotland, DV in the house. I'm drinking a cup of tea, so if you want to hear what a slurpy tea sounds like, tune in, get your earphones in, get ready. I love it. Not quite as good as a canny iron brew, but here. Cup of tea at 4 AM in the morning when you're about to do what do we even call this video? A Scottish Premiership ins and outs, I guess. I don't know, transfer update. Fuck knows. Haven't made a video since that Old Firm game, and I was kind of depressed during it. I'd £100 on Celtic. I thought they would have won, they didn't, but who cares? As long as Scotland beat Denmark tonight, that's all that matters. But here, we're not here to talk about shitey teams like Celtic or Rangers, or we're not here to talk about shitey teams like Scotland. We're here to talk about shitey teams that have signed players or have let players go. So, yeah, we're going to be using the Daily Record, the website here, to look through the ins and outs. If you don't like it, then fuck it, you know. It's the same shite. You know, we could use the Sun or whatever, or we could use a different website, Sky Sports. But Sky Sports don't care about Scottish football, you know, so we ain't gonna use them. But let's get into it. Right, Aberdeen. Let's start with Aberdeen. Noticeable signings, obviously Scott Brown. I mean, he might be about 15 years past his prime, but still a big signing. Declan Gallagher from Motherwell. J. Emmanuel Thomas. Teddy Jenks. No idea who Teddy Jenks is, but here. Jack Gour for Atlanta. Christian Ramirez, I think, has been a good signing. Gary Woods. Austin Samuels. Marley Watkins, who they had last year. Matty Longstaff from Newcastle, and former Rangers player Davy Bates for Habsburg. In terms of who's left Aberdeen, Bruce Anderson, Ash Taylor, Tommy Hoban, Greg Lee, Shea Logan, Miko Virtanen, and Ethan Ross. Straight off the bat, man. Straight off the bat. I think Aberdeen have had a great transfer window. Looking at that on paper, you know, they brought in numerous good players there. Obviously, they needed attackers last season. They were relying on loan strikers. Wasn't working out for them. I mean, they brought in Jet and they brought in Christian Ramirez. I think those guys will, you know, get goals. Lots of goals. So, yeah, I think Aberdeen have had a pretty good signing. Good transfer window. But here, man, Scott Brown. Are you signing them for his performances? Are you signing them for what he's going to deliver on the pitch? Or are you signing him because of his name value? In my opinion, a few years past his prime. But here, I know some of them are on loan as well, but I don't think Aberdeen can complain with the transfer window that they've had. Right, moving on to Celtic. Brought in the two most noticeable players so far, in my opinion, have to be Abada and Furuhashi, who have both been great, especially Furuhashi. They've also brought in £4 million signing Starfelt, who looks like shit, so I don't know if you'd consider that a good signing or not. They've brought in Joe Hart, who, in my opinion, would have been a decent signing like 8 years ago, but ever since then he's been a laughingstock, he's been a meme. So signing a past his prime Joe Hart and signing a has-been in James McCarthy, just for me, doesn't really do anything. Like I say, maybe if those signings happened 5, 6, 7 years ago, it would have been decent, but as for now, not so much. Josip Rananovic for Legia Warsaw, Liam Scales for Shamrock Rovers, Giorgio Komakamis from Vienna, Jota on loan for Benfica, and Cameron Carter-Vickers on loan for Tottenham. I mean, a couple of good players Celtic have brought in there, but in my opinion, is that enough players is that really enough players that they needed? I don't think so. And when you look at the players that went out, obviously we knew Scott Brown was leaving for a while. Christopher Adger has went to Brentford. Oliver Ntcham hasn't played in about a year. He's been released. Lee Griffiths, absolute shite. Probably too busy touching kids to play football. He's on loan. You've got Ryan Christie going to Bournemouth and Edouard for Palace. Now, I know Edouard hasn't been at his best for a while, but when you look at that, man, when you really look at that, Adger, Odsonne Edouard, Ryan Christie, I mean, even Ntcham and Brown to an extent, there's 5 players that were fucking crucial in Celtic, you know, dominating the league for like the last couple of seasons. So, even though Edouard hasn't been at his best and Ntcham hasn't played and Brown's past it, I mean, come on. There's no doubt Christie and Adger would be guaranteed starters in a Celtic team, so I think to lose them's massive. And I think they definitely should have. Obviously, they probably wanted to keep Adger and Christie, but the two players didn't want to stay. But I mean, for me, that's a massive loss, and I just don't think the signings are enough, really. I'm impressed with what they've made, but I think they need a few more. I think it's going to take a couple more windows for Celtic to, assemble the team that they really want. Now, let's move on to Dundee. Lee Griffiths on loan. I'm not going to talk about Dundee. I think Dundee will stay up, right? That's all I'm going to say. I think Dundee will stay up. I don't know why they've wasted money signing this prick, though. Fucking absolute waste. I know it's only on loan, but they're guaranteed they'll be paying something towards his wages. Dundee United, Mark McNulty on loan, I thought was a decent signing. You got Charlie Mulgrew. It feels like the guy's been around for 50 years, still playing. Thought it was a decent signing. In terms of out, McMullen went to Dundee. Questionable when you leave your rivals to go to another one. Dylan Powers, Adam King, Lewis Fraser, all out. Lawrence Shankland will be a big loss. But to be fair, I do think the goals kind of dried up from last season, especially in the second half. So, I don't know. I mean, for Dundee, it's an alright transfer window. I don't think they'll go down either. I think they're too good to go down. Plus, I would say they've got the best kit in the Premier League this season, or at least one of the best kits. It's a nice kit. Hibs, let's see Hibs. Daniel Mackay in for Inverness, Jamie Murphy in for Rangers, Jake Doyles Hayes in for St Mirren, Chris Mueller for Orlando. No idea who Chris Mueller is. It could be good, could be shite. I don't know, guys. I'll just be honest, I don't know. James Scott on loan for Hull, Nathan Wood on loan for Middlesbrough, and David Mitchell from Clyde. Not impressed. Not impressed at all in terms of the players that they've brought in. And players that they've let out. I mean, is there really any major fucking... Marciano, I think, is a massive blow. Because he would be the number one. There's no doubt about it. He is better than Matt Macy. I think them losing Marciano was pretty poor. But that's pretty much it. David Gray retired, which kind of sucks for them. But Stevie Malin, who I did rate, but I just don't think he had a good career at Hibs. I think ever since they signed him off St Mirren, I think he just didn't really live up to expectations at Hibs. So, I mean, I'm looking at Hibs there, and I wouldn't say... I don't think they've had a great transfer window, but then again, they haven't really lost anyone apart from Marciano, and I guess that's key. They haven't, like I said, they haven't lost Nisbet. You know, they've kept their attacking players, they've kept Boyle. So, it's... Even though they haven't really brought anyone in, they haven't lost anyone, and sometimes, especially for a team like Hibs, just not losing your key players can be considered a good window. Right, moving on to the team that matters, guys, the Jambos, the Jam Tarts. We're bringing them back in, Josh Ginnelly. Alex Cochrane's coming on loan for Brighton. What I've seen so far of Cochrane, I think he's been alright, to be fair. I'm not overly massive on the guy, but I think he's been alright. Benny for Everton, been a good signing. Ben Woodward for Liverpool, remains to be seen. I've seen him play a few games, but obviously not for Hearts. I've seen him play a few games for Liverpool, but I don't know. He looks decent. There's big expectations for the guy. Hopefully he's good. Taylor Moore coming on loan for Bristol City, and Cammy Devlin for Newcastle Jets. And it feels like we signed Devlin like years ago, but they finally just got it over the line. I mean, this Cammy Devlin signing's practically been done since like the start of August, but we just got it over the line on transfer deadline day. A bit of a weird one. In terms of players out, Berra out, Harry Cochrane out. Very disappointed to see Harry Cochrane going out. Remember when he first, he first made his mark when we beat Celtic 4-0? We stopped I'm pretty sure that's the game he made his mark in. Yeah, it was, aye. We stopped the Celtic 69 game unbeaten, and things were looking great for Harry Cochrane, and we thought he was going to be, the next big star, but just didn't really happen. Sad to see him go, though. Definitely think it's wasted potential. And apart from that, man, White, Freer, Samal, Doyle, Ollie Lee, Craig Whiting, Lewis Muir, Castanier, out on loan. I was a bit disappointed to see Andy Irvine go. I'm not going to lie. Andy Irvine, I was disappointed to see go. Stephen A. Smith retired. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have seen him had one more season. But apart from that, I mean, the players that have left us, they just weren't good enough. Christophe Berra, great in his prime, really solid defender in his prime. But let's be real, last season he just wasn't good enough. He's not there anymore. He's not at that level anymore. So I can't. I'm looking at those players that have left, and I can't really say I'm too bothered. And I think we've made a couple of decent signings in, so I'd say we've had a decent window. I'm not overly impressed, but it's been decent. Livingston, holy shit, looks like they've got a lot. You know what, I'm not even going to cover Livingston. What I am going to say is I'm looking at the players they've brought in, that's just too many. I do not have the patience, guys, to go through that. What I will say is, so I think I predict that Livingston to get relegated, and you can go home, you can go back and check my predictions, but I mean, they've lost a lot of key players, and I just do think they will struggle. I mean, they've lost a lot of notables or key players. Their squad is pretty thin at the moment. It's just, I just don't think they'll do well this season. Right, moving on to Motherwell. In terms of players, and fuck me, it's hard to rank this, guys, when you don't know any of them. I'm going to be honest. I think losing Declan Gallagher was a big loss to Aberdeen. Liam Polworth, Jake Hasty. Jesus Christ, man. There's a lot of Seedorf as well. Jesus Christ, Motherwell have lost a lot. Defante Cole, Charles Dunn away. Jesus Christ, man. Trevor Carson gone. Motherwell have lost a lot of key players here. Fucking most of their team's gone. That's mad. That's not a good transfer window for Motherwell. Right, moving on to Rangers. Now, what I will say is, I'm not impressed with the signings Rangers have brought in. To be honest, I don't really rate any of them. I think Fashion Sakala looks shit. I think John Lundstram looks shit. I know it's early days. I haven't seen any of the rest of them play. But what has impressed me more is the players that Rangers have let go. They've managed to keep all their key players. The players that, pushed Rangers to winning title 55 last season, they've managed to keep every single key player. And especially after getting knocked out in the Champions League, I didn't think that would be the case. Maybe you thought they'd have to get rid of Morelos or Goldson or Tav or Kent or Rebo. You maybe thought one of those key players would have had to have left. But none of them have left. They've all stayed. So for me, that is massive, and I think that is a great transfer window for Rangers. The fact is that they kept them all. For me, that's better than any of the players that they brought in. So I think Rangers have done well there. Ross County, obviously losing somewhere. I think they will struggle this season. Ross County, they've brought in Ross Callaghan for Hamilton. I've seen this guy play a lot. Obviously, used to play for Hearts. He's shit. I don't rate him. I just don't rate the guy at all. I don't know how he still, plays his football in the Scottish Premiership. I really don't. In terms of out, Ian Figures away, Gardyne away, Billy Mackay away, Jason Naismith away, Ross Draper away. It's a lot of first team players there that have featured for Ross County last season are gone. So I don't know. I'm looking at that transfer. I don't think it's that great. I do think they'll struggle this season. Moving on to St Mirren. Apparently they haven't sold anyone, or maybe we just need to skip past all these fucking ads. Yeah, so out is Dylan Connolly, Jake Doyles-Hayes, who's went to Hibs, and Lewis Jameson, who's on loan at Inverness. In terms of players in, they brought in Charles Dunn for Motherwell, Craig Kelty for Kilmarnock. Good to see Craig Kelty staying in the Premier League. I think he's a decent player, to be fair. Eamon Brophy for Kilmarnock, Alan Power for Kilmarnock. Jesus Christ, I've just stolen the entire Kilmarnock team. I still can't believe this actually signed Eamon Brophy. I thought Eamon Brophy wouldn't have left Kilmarnock to go to St Mirren. I thought he'd actually, got to a decent team. Scott Tanser for St Johnstone. They've actually had a good transfer window here. I'm tempted to say this St Mirren transfer window's the best I've seen so far. I am tempted to say that. And last but not least, got St Johnstone bringing in Hayden Muller on loan. James Brown on a lot of Millwall fucking guys in here. Glenn Middleton, got him on loan again for Rangers. Guy for Man United. Ali Crawford on loan for Bolton Wanderers, former Hamilton player. I thought Ali Crawford was good when he's in the Scottish Premiership. It'd be interesting to see how he does back in it. And in terms of out, Tans are out. Oh shit, they got rid of Ellie McCann. And Jason Kerr. Wow, that's massive. I didn't even realise that. Jason Kerr and Ali McCann, two of the key players for St Johnstone last season, gone. Wow. Wow. That's shit. That is fucking shit for them. Right, okay. Interesting. I guess Ali Crawford's coming in to replace Ali McCann, but either way, that's not good, guys. And that is us then at the end of the transfer window, and we've got someone there saying we can't believe who Naga Mukanari's partners. I don't give a fuck who our partners, guys. We're here to read the Scottish Premiership transfer. Stop showing me shitey ads. But anyway, there you go. There's the news. That's the deals. That's the signings. In terms of where would I rank these? Who do I rank the best? Honestly, I would say I'm going to have to go Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen have had the strongest transfer window. I think they've brought in a lot of key players, and I don't think the players that they've let go are really, that good. I mean, maybe Ash Taylor and Tommy Hoban would have been decent options to have as centre backs, but I mean, apart from that, I don't think Bruce Anderson was ever really going to be Aberdeen quality in terms of a striker. And so I think Aberdeen have had the best window. I'd also say St Mirren have had a good transfer window as well. I'd probably put them second. And third, believe it or not, guys, I would probably put Rangers, for the simple fact is, like I said, they haven't lost any of their key players, and for me, that's massive. I mean, you look at Celtic and you're losing Christie, losing Edouard, even though he wasn't that great last season, still, the fact that they've lost him is mad. Christopher Adger, losing him, big, massive deal. That would be the equivalent. Let's be real. Celtic losing Christie, Edouard, and Adger would be the equivalent of Rangers losing, Morelos, Aribo and Goldson. It is, that's kind of the players that they've lost there, so it's fucking massive. And in terms of who's had the worst transfer window, I'm going to have to go with St Johnstone. I think to lose Ali McCann, who I thought was a quality player, and to lose Jason Kerr, who was their best centre-back, that is two massive blows, guys. Two massive blows. But anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think of the Scottish transfers in the Premiership this season, and I will be back later today even. It depends whenever this uploads. Be back with a Scotland-Denmark match review. I might not be making much sense here, guys, but fuck it. It's 4:30 now in the morning. You try making sense when you're running on 2 hours sleep and you're fucking bored at your tits and you're drinking a cold cup of tea. But anyway, that's it, guys. Till next time. Peace.